Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Friday morning and it's foggy here in Northern England. Not seen fog for a while. Today though, it's another one of those 2 video days. This video will come out first. The second will come out on Michelle Walks later today. And I'm going to be covering the Debbie Collier case, which is a very strange one, so look out for that later. If you're not subscribed to my second channel, Michelle Walks, I'll leave a link to it in the cards there. So I've got 2 topics today. I want to address the Delphi murders and also Kylie Rodney. Let's start with Delphi. So is this close to being solved now? The Murder Sheet podcast, they've managed to get their hands on documentation about the case and bring it to the public. And they're now saying that Kegan Kline has admitted to some involvement in the murders of Abby and Libby. Now, when I say involvement, very hands-off, almost like he's the getaway driver, because he said that he was waiting in a red Jeep whilst the murders were going on. So, okay. Almost like Kegan lured the girls to that location because it's him that was communicating with Libby via the Anthony Shots profile. So why would Kegan do that? And who would Kegan do that for? Do you believe that if Kegan went to the trouble of being the one that lured the girls there, do you believe that he missed such an opportunity and stayed in the Jeep? I don't know if I believe that. But it's inching forward towards a full confession. Maybe that is his full confession. But who would Kegan lure the girls for? Would it be for Tony Kline, his dad? Now, I've always thought that Bridge Guy looked a lot like Tony Kline. An older guy, not Kegan Kline, he's only young. So did Kegan and Tony plan the murders, but Kegan couldn't go through with it? And that's why he waited in the Jeep. That's a possibility. That is a possibility. Some people are saying that there's going to be an announcement soon. Is there going to be something formal, a formal charge of some kind for Kegan Kline? Because if he waited in the Jeep and he knew that the murders were going on, he's a mere accessory, isn't he? So, yeah, wait and see on that one. But after all this time, will the Delphi murders finally be solved? And is there killer Tony Kline? My money is on Tony Kline as being Bridge Guy. Was there more than one person involved in the murders? And that's just my opinion. Tony Kline doesn't need to bother suing me. It's just my opinion that Tony Kline looks like Bridge Guy. Okay, so let me know what you think about the Delphi murders in the comments below, and I will update as soon as there is an update from law enforcement. I may even go live. If there's a press conference and I get to it in time, you know, i.e. it's not in the middle of the night my time, then I'll stream it live for you guys. Okay, over to Kylie Rodney. So the US Sun, the rag, the Sun, got something, got information that no one else had got. Got a quote from Nevada County Sheriff's Office, who then came out very quickly and said that they weren't going to give any other comments. They haven't replied to my tweet. Apparently they replied to Harsh Reality, who asked the same question I did. He was more specific. He actually named people. I just said the friends. They just said they weren't going to comment. So yeah, is this a criminal investigation? Maybe. Even if it is a criminal investigation, they've made so many mistakes. So much evidence potentially has been lost. Will they ever be able to prosecute? I don't know. Maybe they know a lot we don't. Hopefully they know a lot we don't. The US Sun got the quote that Jagger was not involved. He was ruled out early on when they were thinking that it was an abduction. And law enforcement were treating this as an abduction before Kylie was found. They absolutely were. They started to backtrack a bit at the August 22nd conference, but that's exactly what they were saying. Go and check back their earlier presses. I've got most of them over on Michelle Watts. I don't think I've got the first one. I've got most of them. Go and listen to them. They were treating this as an abduction. The FBI were involved. Mind you, it was federal land, so perhaps the FBI was always going to be involved, but yeah, I think they had the card team there, you know, the child abduction specialists, but they ruled Jagger out. Apparently he got some evidence to say that he was on his way from Napa to Truckee. We've been able to hand them some evidence that he couldn't possibly be at Boca Reservoir on a Saturday morning. Now that could be something like a gas station receipt from his bank, unless someone else was driving from Napa to Truckee and used his bank details, but that's not likely really, is it? Maybe phone pings from his phone put him miles and miles away from Truckee or the Boca area on the Saturday morning and the Friday evening. So maybe they have got evidence. Hopefully they've gone that far and not just relied on his dad to say, yeah, he was with me on Friday night. But if they've got some evidence that he wasn't in Truckee or the Prosser Boca areas on the Saturday morning, then you can definitely rule him out as the guy that roadside assistance guy Nick saw. But the US Sun have got a quote from Doug Bishop from Adventures with Purpose, and some people on Twitter are saying that Doug is now backtracking, that he led people to believe that it was Jagger, that roadside assistance guy had identified Jagger. I can see how you would think that. They never named anyone though. They never named anyone on their show. They never named anyone when Jared and Nick and Doug went on quite a lot of panels. Now I think that precludes them from a defamation suit. But there are some haters on Twitter. There's this one called Anonymous, and then some numbers, who the only person they're following is SF Investigates. So I'm wondering whether this is a sock puppet account of SF Investigates. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it isn't. It's just a thought. But being very, very negative, saying that a defamation suit's coming and the only videos they're going to be releasing is about defamation. I don't believe that. I don't believe that they've done anything to warrant a defamation suit. They didn't name anyone. They described someone. Did they let people believe that it was Jagger? Maybe. Did they say that they got a positive ID and that they'd been able to verify it? Kind of. They kind of did. But if you listen carefully, it was more like law enforcement would be able to verify them. So, yeah, you can listen to it in more than one way. So I understand people saying that Doug's now backtracking, but they didn't name anyone. It was kind of up to the public to assume. And as far as I understand the law, that isn't defamation. But yeah, Jagger was very upset with Adventures with Purpose. It's interesting that the US Sun is being quite snidey towards roadside assistance guy, saying that, these were allegations, but we just have to remember that roadside assistance guy has given all of the information to law enforcement before he appeared on Adventures with Purpose. I think what Adventures with Purpose was saying is that they had verified that he'd given the information to law enforcement. That's what I took from their shows and from their panel appearances. I've said it many times now, but I'll say it again. The roadside assistance guy's company shut down the call log and gave it to law enforcement. Shut down the dash cam footage and gave it to law enforcement. Roadside assistance guy does not have access to that information. He doesn't have access to the dispatch call. He said that they don't have access to the dispatch call. They just get information about where to go. Would he have the license plate or the VIN number, the make and model of the vehicle in his possession? He's never mentioned anything like that. Perhaps just told where to go. And it's dispatch that does all the verification that the vehicle that they're going to is actually a customer, not just some random person ringing up. So I think all that's done by dispatch, so it's understandable that roadside assistance guy wouldn't remember those details too well. Just that he remembers a girl looking like Kylie, a vehicle looking like hers, and then a young man whose description was like Jagger's. But Jagger has this kind of look that a lot of these young men, some of the clips that we see from the search where Sammy and others are, doing their thing, directing people around, and you see young men in the background and they look a lot like Jagger. It seems to be the look. The girls seem to have long blonde hair and the boys seem to have short but kind of ruffly hair, brown with a cap. I mean, could be anyone, frankly. Could be anyone. But is it connected to Kylie? We don't know. But law enforcement does. They do know. They do know whether that's connected to Kylie or not. And why they are not just coming out with a statement that will not hamper the investigation one little bit by saying, no, this was not Kylie's vehicle, this was not Kylie. That would put it all to rest, but no, they're not going to do that, no. So the US Sun missed a trick there, because whilst they were talking to Nevada County Sheriff's Office, why didn't they just ask the question? Is roadside assistance guys' information, is it verifiable or not? Rather than being a bit snidey and throwing a bit of shade at him, did they ask? Did they ask? Did they ask if that information had been verified? Did they ask and were told that they couldn't say? Maybe. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the Delphi murders. Let me know what you think about the latest in the Kylie Rodney case. I don't think there's any new massive major updates going to come out from law enforcement until November. So I think probably the case might go a little bit quieter. We've got, well over a month yet, maybe 5-6 weeks to wait. So let's wait. Alright guys, look out for my next video over on Michelle Walks about Debbie Collier. Until then, it's goodbye from Miss Cassie Springer. Miss Cassie Springer. And Miss Tillington, who's heading off. Tilly, come here. Tilly, come here. Good girl. Good girl.